So this past week we got a new guy. Well, it's actually a new old member of the flock. So Richard had started here as a fertile hatching egg, which we had sold to a customer. And she hatched them out and decided that she didn't want to have a rooster around. So she offered Richard back to us, so we took him. He is a bantam mix. So you'll see that he's a lot smaller than a lot of the rest of our roosters, but he is bigger than Rico. So if you've watched our other episodes, or if you haven't watched, you can go back and watch them and you can see Rico. So Richard is like halfway in between the size of Rico and like Fire or Pete. He's a very, very handsome guy though. If Ava puts him down, we can see he has some like nice green tail feathers here.
This is Norman. He's our 9 to 10 month old Narragansett set turkey. He's a male, so he has this little tuft of feathers here. It's called a beard, and he's all around very friendly.
So these are our 11 pigs. They are a Yorkshire cross. An interesting fact, anything with the name that ends in shire means that they have erect ears, which means that their ears stand up. As you can see, they are pretty friendly and used to me being in here. These guys are what we call pasture raised. We've had them out in our pasture here that we made for them basically since they were born. These guys were born on June 10th. Right now they are probably all between 180 and 230 pounds. They grow a little slower when they're out on pasture because they can get exercise all the time. They're exercising and walking around and rooting around all day, every day. They're not just sitting in a pen and getting fat, so the meat should be nice and lean. They are eating I think it's a corn-based pig grower. It's 14% protein. We get that at our local co-op. They love it. And they also get whatever else they find out here in the pasture.
And we also bring out to them, they get leftover vegetables and fruits and all that kind of good stuff.
And as you've seen in some of our other videos, a bunch of our friends and neighbors brought us pumpkins from Halloween, and they loved eating those.
Yep, all fall they were eating squash and pumpkins and lettuce and tomatoes.
It's a little snowy out today. The pigs actually don't mind the snow at all. They are a very cold hardy animal. Actually, they can stand the cold much better than they can stand the heat. They would rather be in the cold than the heat. This is Thor. He's our big fat guy. My son named him Thor. So right over my shoulder here, one of our pigs is drinking out of the creek that flows through our property, which is really, really nice. We've been able to keep that open all winter. Makes it so we don't have to carry as much water out, but when it gets really cold and it freezes over, we just carry buckets out to them. But they, for the most part, are able to just drink water out of the creek that flows through the property. Here's some pigs on pasture. We feel like they have a little bit better of a quality of life out here than being stuck in a pen all day. Not that there's anything wrong with that. They're also serving a purpose. We did put them out here so that they could till up our pasture a little bit for the goats and the steer because it was a little brushy and weedy. So these guys are also working pigs. So while they're wandering around all day and tilling our pasture up, they do have two different shelters. One that's out in the pasture that we made out of pallets and plywood that they can go in out in the pasture. And they also have a kind of like a 3.5 sided lean-to that's attached to our barn that they can go in. So our pigs have about an acre, a little bit more than an acre size pasture that they can wander around in. It's brushy, it's got weeds, it has a nice little creek flowing through it. For fencing to keep in our pigs, they are notoriously hard on fence, but all we have is, hi buddy, all we have is field fence that you can buy at Tractor Supply or any feed store. It's just a field fence with the metal T-posts. And what we did was we put these extenders on and we used poly-electric fence wire. And it's about a foot off the ground. I did have to move it up when it started to snow pretty good. But the pigs have been trained on electric fence ever since they were piglets. And they respect it. They are a smart creature. They're a smart animal. And they know what electric fence is, and they don't even test the fence. I would recommend doing something a little bit more substantial like a hog panel or a cattle panel that you dig into the ground if you don't have them trained to electric fence, but these guys are very, very good about not bothering the fence. It's a really, really inexpensive way to house your pigs in a way. That's Red. I don't know if you guys can tell why we named her that. The only red one we have.
So yesterday we had something not too great happen. One of our chickens we found outside with all of its feathers plucked off. And from what we can tell, it was a hawk. There was a chicken hawk that we saw circling and circling. And it had been diving and we weren't sure why before we had seen it out the window. But from what we can tell, it did come and it killed one of the chickens yesterday, which was not great. But the good thing is that we're getting a puppy. We're getting a livestock guardian dog. We're getting a Great Pyrenees, and we're going to get that puppy on February 20th. So we are really, really excited. It's a male. His name is going to be Atlas, and he's going to help us out with our predator problems. Earlier this year, we lost 20 turkeys to a fox. It just kept coming back and we couldn't get it. So we had lost 20 of our turkeys. That was really, really bad. So currently we only have like 8 turkeys that we will be able to keep and put in the freezer that we're growing. Originally that was supposed to be many more. But hopefully Atlas will come and he will help with the problems. So stay tuned for that because he'll be showing up in just a couple weeks here and we'll share him with you. He's awfully cute.